Portsmouth it was a good town. You always heard stories about what Portsmouth used to be. The shoe company, the steel mills, the factories, all that stuff had kind of closed down by the time that I was growing up.
It used to be that, the downtown area was certainly a place to come hang out.
Riding bikes up and down the street with neighborhood kids, going to Dreamland Pool, and probably my fondest would be Christmas time on Chillicothe Street, going to Marding's, Christmas shopping. Anything on Chillicothe Street at Christmas time used to be just magical.
There were several factors, and I think the main one was the economic loss that we felt from losing business and industries. And I think that they propagated several different things that hurt the region and hurt the local economy.
That drew people away from our area, and there wasn't a whole lot to do around town. So then businesses started going out, and that was basically the beginning of the downward spiral.
People here are river rats, so they're good people. They're very hardworking. They're very fun-loving, but they have to have a mission. And I think over the last few decades, there just wasn't a mission.
It became an area that everyone thought you have to go somewhere else to do anything.
There's just a complete lack of belief and a lack of hope over the last few decades.
The negativity just was contagious. It became, there's nothing to do here. This city has nothing to offer. Why would anyone want to move back here? Why would anyone want to stay here?
All that stuff left and created a void. And in that void, we say steel mills closed down and then the pill mills opened up. So you have a population of people who had no good paying jobs, and without having anything to look forward to, without having belief in themselves, people kind of turned to drugs and alcohol and kind of sucked them down a vortex of just wander and hopelessness.
I hear stories of people my parents' age talk about the glory days of Portsmouth. Like I said, I don't have any bad memories. I know we lost our industrial base, and a lot of people fell on hard times, and that's the story that people tell over and over and over, and I think that's our biggest problem. We've got to get over anything that's happened bad in the past and move on.
I would say if you ask 10 people that question, 8 of them would say drugs or opioids or something like that. Not that I disagree with them, but I think it's a little more than that. I think it's personal accountability. I think that we forgot what it means to be a good neighbor and hold each other accountable. And factories and jobs, those leave small town USA every day, all across the country. And it's how you rebound from that is what makes you a strong community. Instead of casting blame or bathing in self-pity, we pick ourselves back up, rebuild or replace whatever's left, and everything changes. Nothing's ever going to stay the same. So it's how we adapt and deal with that change, and how we hold ourselves accountable as neighbors.
The idea was to attract some big industry to come in and that someone would come save us. And I think now we know we've got to save ourselves.
There wasn't going to be some magical factory job that was going to come back and provide everybody with opportunities. And kind of what people realized is you can do it yourself. You can learn to make things here. And with, in my industry especially, like e-commerce, if you've got a good product, you can throw it out on the internet and make things here in town, make things from Portsmouth and ship them out across the nation. And then kind of once that started happening, all it took was like one one or two positive things, positive businesses. And then one business kind of moved down here, started bringing traffic down here. And then another business kind of opened up, and then another business kind of opened up. And it's just a positive, domino effect that's kind of starting to take back the economy.
I think, our generation, we do have some fond memories of doing stuff in the downtown area or just in Portsmouth in general. We don't want our children to go through or have to move away from here, I should say, because for us it was such a great place to grow up. There's still the sense of family has never left, and sense of community.
I think it's our turn. I think, it's nothing against my parents' generation, but they had their turn. And, let's just say in the 70s and 80s, as they were in their 30s and 40s, everything was fine. Well, then kind of at the end of that generation is when everything kind of started to fall apart and people start moving away. We realized that it's not going to be anyone no one's going to fix it for us. We have to go out there and fix it. And if you want to be a part of it, that's awesome. But the time of not doing anything and the time of blaming people is over.
What I'm feeling is that the sense of betterment to the whole population base is much stronger right now. Whenever you look at the fact that we've had many opportunities to make change, and not all of them have been successful, I think that we're coming out of our silos. We're not looking at only ourselves, we're looking at the bigger picture.
Well, I think we struggle with the same things that every city struggles with. And I think for some reason in the past, these naysayers had a voice, and they had a louder voice for some reason. And the quiet majority didn't say anything, and now we are. Now we've got creative people like you that can leverage technology and put cool videos together and sell our vision.
It feels as though not just in Portsmouth, but in the whole county region, that we feel a redevelopment of the community. And that by itself, I think, will lend itself to bettering the society.
There's opportunity. So basically, success is guarded by problems. So if you can get past those problems, you're going to be successful downtown. And we have low rents. We have historic buildings that are one of a kind. So they're unique places to open up a business. And that's no matter how big of a big box store you build and how big of a parking lot and things like that, they're never going to replace the look of these small town downtowns.
What we're trying to do, and what I feel that is happening is that we're trying to highlight what we have positive. You're talking about an area that has great features. We're beautiful. We've got Shawnee Forest. We have all kinds of different ways to get things to and from us. You can float down the river right here. You've got a huge bypass now that is actually a boon to Portsmouth at the end of the day. We've got rail. We have all those different things. And if we can combine those with the good intentions and the energy that's going on, we can then start making impact on the bigger sociological numbers that we have out there.
The concerts that go on at Patties and Pints are huge. Summer concerts, like this year especially, you had Plant Portsmouth, which was massive. You had Glocktoberfest. You had, just here recently, you had Winterfest with a world record breaking attempt. Those are some of the things that kind of come to off the top of my head. But more than that, I think it's just like people are realizing that it's not going to be the local government that's going to have the answers. It's not going to be the politicians that are going to do it. It's going to be the people. And once people start caring, that's when real positive change happens. Like, all it takes is for good men to do nothing for evil to win.
with Plant Portsmouth, we set the world record, but at the same time, we cleaned up Chillicothe Street and made a huge impact on our downtown area. Then same thing with Winterfest. We did most people caroling, and that was, also kind of absurd, and everyone thought, that's crazy, why are you doing that? Again, it gets people to look at our area. We think we had at least 20,000 people come to Winterfest, which is huge for Portsmouth, considering, our population is around the same thing.
And we've painted some light poles and some stuff that some people would argue that it's not that big of a deal. But look at the buzz that it's created. And now I get calls every day, what's available, I want to rent space, I want to buy something, and I feel like I'm like a realtor all of a sudden, and I'm not, but I'm selling our city because I just want to see us win. It's our time to win.
Well, the whole point behind this is to make the life better so that people can stay here and that they can have generational outcomes, those kinds of things. And I think that's part of the reason why that I myself am becoming even more energized in what we're doing.
The success of Portsmouth solely depends on its people. And that is the single biggest hope that I have for this town. Like, that time, it's now over. Like, and you got to realize which side of it are you going to be on. The side of saying it's not my problem is over.
Something so little as just like changing your mindset and saying something positive about Portsmouth, that can spread just as easily as something negative.
People will be very quick to try to bring you down. And what I've come to learn is it's not my problem, it's their problem, because they're not doing anything. And so when they see people trying to affect and attempt change, it shines a light on their own self-worth and what they're not doing.
Say something nice about your city, or not even your city, about anyone next to you, or do something nice to your neighborhood, or, it can do something to your front lawn. I don't know, but just, it can be really little. And then you never know who's watching and who you might be impacting.
I think what people should do to keep the momentum going that we have is to quit telling the old story that the best days are behind us, because it's not true. I think a lot of people now see that the best days are in front of us, that we can be a lifestyle town. We've got really everything that we need. We just need to put it in one spot. And I think that's what's happening now downtown. It's like it's time for the small towns to win.
I think the message that's being broadcasted from Portsmouth now is a light, where before it was just it was dark and gloomy, and that light's being broadcasted now. 2,000 people don't stand out in the cold and rain if they don't want something better, if they don't want to be a part of something better. And then you're living somewhere else now. And how cool would it be if you moved back, to come back home to that small town? Because now there's going to be opportunities for you, and there's going to be things for you to do. But you just got to want to be a part of it.
I think our success as a city is really just one thing. It's our ability to learn how to love our neighbor again.
Community is you and your neighbor. That's it. What have you done for your neighbor?
When's the last time you broke bread with the guy that lives next door? So our concept of neighbor or neighborhood has changed and it's evolving. And I think the sooner we get back to what it used to be, where you could walk next door and borrow some milk or sugar, and the person next door cared about you and held you accountable, and you the same to them. The sooner we get back to that, that's the future for Portsmouth. We can continue to improve infrastructure and hope to attract large companies and large employers, but our neighborhoods are what we can personally affect change in right now. And the better neighborhoods we have and the better the city looks and feels and the more inviting it is, the more tourism we're going to get. And that's how I think we can affect change on a personal level.
So we need other leaders in other areas of the town to step up and take the initiative as others are around town to do small projects and get things accomplished.
Friends of Portsmouth is it's a group of people who love their neighbors and love where they live. We're going to be a group of people that has the same problems that you may have. So if you want to put on a community cleanup project or a neighborhood cleanup project, we'll be right there beside you.
So it's way bigger than any one person or any one group. There's a lot of good groups that have been doing great things for a long time. SOMC does fantastic things for the town, Red Cross and Main Street Portsmouth and all these groups. And then now you've got Friends of Portsmouth, and they're complementing a lot of things that have been going on for a long time. But it's bigger than any of those groups. It's the whole community. Look at what happens every time that there's a need. The whole community comes together. That's what I love about small towns. We care about each other. There's authentic relationships and real people that care about each other.
The Winterfest was a perfect example of that. We had over 350 volunteers, and Winterfest would have never happened without those volunteers. So we have a strong community. We have an amazing city where we live, and we just need to do a better job at holding ourselves accountable to showcase some of those things that's beautiful about this city.
Nothing compares to the people of Portsmouth. Like, this problem happened on our watch, but people are fed up. The issue now is, what are you doing to solve the problem? And you can't be on the sidelines. Like, you got to get in the fight.
Well, I would say to the people who think that they have been forgotten or don't have the means to go out and do something big, again, something small, like going out of your house and organizing a couple families on your street to pick up litter on the street, or cleaning up the leaves and making our city look nice. If everyone just did a tiny bit, that equals to a whole lot.
It's as simple as picking up trash. It's as simple as volunteering at your church. It's as simple as coming to stand in the rain when it's cold to be a part of a world record attempt. It's as simple as supporting local business. Just make the place better than you found it.
Where I'd like to see Portsmouth in the next few years is, I would like to see us encouraging our brightest people to see what's coming around the corner. So see what's coming at us as a community, and then move our community in a way that helps us flourish.
You look at this, if we have more people that come in that are making a sustainable wage, they not only will then propagate our building trades and those kinds of things, but they're also all going to want trucks. And they're all going to want to eat someplace. And they're all going to need, and you look at the ripple effect. You throw a rock into a big body of water, there's this big ripple that occurs. So by making small changes here at this level that's appropriate to putting people in sustainable outcomes, they can take care of themselves. They have all those different factors. Those are the things that I believe that we're going to get to. Whether that's our main focus to begin with or not is irrelevant, because the outcome then takes care of itself.
I picture Portsmouth being like a scene from the movies or from TV, like The Wonder Years or something like that. Just, again, a place everyone loves to call home, everyone loves to come back to. It's family, it's community, and it's just full of love.
I would love nothing more to kind of look out of my building and just see people up and down the streets, frequenting businesses, being able to go to a restaurant, go down the street to a bar, go to a clothing store. Like, I want to see people downtown all the time with a smile on their face.
That's where I think Portsmouth can go if everyone gets on board, follows through with the movement, and trusts the process of the baby steps of getting us back to what we used to be, that we all know is still right there within reach. So spreading that positivity and spreading kindness.
What I'd like to see for Portsmouth is a bustling downtown. Every old building renovated and occupied. And that's what, when people talk about the glory days, they talk about how Chillicothe Street used to be just bustling with people everywhere. We can do that again. There's no doubt in my mind. Small towns are easier to turn around because you have people that care. They've been here forever, and we've got, 15 or 18 empty buildings. It doesn't take a handful of us to buy up a few buildings, take a chance, and have available space for lease, attract some businesses. And there's really an entrepreneurial spirit right now where people, they've had ideas for a long time, and now they're more encouraged than ever to start their own business. What I love about Portsmouth is it's home. I mean, there's no place like home. And we travel all over the country and overseas with the manufacturers that we represent. And we did that growing up. And I remember traveling with my grandparents. My grandmother would always say on this year's vacation, this is my second favorite city, no matter where we were, which begged the question, where's your favorite city? Well, it was home. She loved Portsmouth. And they passed that down to my parents, and they passed it down to me and my siblings, and we just love home. I love going in the river and knowing half the people in there. I like that you're trying to pull out of a parking lot and people break their neck to let you out. You don't get that when you're traveling, out of state, I don't think. So I just like that people are just good, authentic, good, hardworking people.
That domino fell, and that domino was Portsmouth. And what we're attempting to do is push that thing back up. And I think right now we're in the process to where we've got enough people that's banded together to kind of bring that back up to a set point. But now what we need is more people to get behind that domino and then finally push it over to that tipping point. Because if there's enough people to push that over, then that's going to be the first domino that creates a cascade of positivity, and then hits the next one and the next one and the next one. And how cool is it going to be that you can tell the story that you were behind that first domino that finally tipped over?